Good morning, friends and astute investors. I'm out for my morning walk here in the estate, and I know I said that I would make videos on how to get 5 times more finance from the banks and 12 other ways to secure finance, which I'll do over the next few days. But as I'm walking here looking at these houses, I'm actually thinking about, market value, especially considering the current state in South Africa. And what I would like to share is how easy it is to actually buy above market value. So as investors, we want to buy as low as possible below market value, but it's really easy to even overshoot the actual market price. And here's how that works. So market value is what is considered a fair price between a willing buyer and a willing seller, and based on a price elected between them. But let's say, for example, just to keep the calculation easy, a property is worth R1,000,000, right? Let's say for fair market value is R1,000,000. Now, the seller is expecting a lower offer, so he's going to up the price to about 1.1 million rand, most likely. Now, the agent or the broker needs to add their 5% commission, which let's say is 55,000 rand. Now we're at 1.15, and then also when you pay your bond registration fees, transfer duty, bank initiation fees, etc., it's another 60,000 rand. So now we're at 1.2 million rand. So if you are uninformed and you see a house being advertised for 1.2 million rand and you do not negotiate on that price, you actually end up paying above market value by 200,000 rand. Now that's 20% more than the actual value of the home. Now let's say, for example, you bought in a good area in Cape Town and that property grows by 10% per year. In other words, it's going to take you 2 years just to get back to what the actual fair market value of the house is should you want to resell it. And obviously also when you want to now resell it, you have to still add the sales agent's broker fee as well, usually around 5 to 7%. So please inform yourself and make sure that you don't buy above market value. So how do we as investors then buy below market value? What are the best insights that I can provide and tips on that point is money is never the reason for selling. It's never the why. The why is maybe the seller wants to relocate, maybe the seller is financially distressed, maybe the seller is buying another house and he needs to move. And this is a difficult one because obviously the broker has it in the client's best interest to sell the property at the maximum price that he can get. And also obviously it's commission driven. And it's unlikely for the broker to introduce you or expose you to the seller. But my advice is find out what exactly the why is of the seller. I've made quite a few number of deals where I made it my point to find out what the reason and what the why is for the seller, where I was able to negotiate prices below market value. One example is where the seller was financially distressed. He was behind on his mortgage about 3 months, and the bank was on the point of repossessing his house. So without expediting or without misusing the situation, I offered the seller that I would settle his outstanding bond immediately on signing of the contract if he was willing and able to sell the property to me 20% below market value. So I solved the problem for the seller by repaying that bond immediately for him, taking him out of that financially distressed position. He didn't end up losing his house. He actually got his whole house sold for a very good price and at that 20% below market value, which was fairly market related. So some input on market value, hope that helped. And just note that the house behind me, that's not a financial investment. It's financial, it's a investment into security, but also you can argue that it's a liability. We want to invest in income producing assets that grow in value and then let the tenant pay back the finance on the banks. I hope this video added some insight this morning, and look forward to catching up soon. Have a lovely day.